is coming, I can feel it. The breeze brings goosebumps to my skin. Tonight the whiskey feels stronger. Gasoline on hidden desires. So I'll throw my old lighter. This cigar helps me slow down. Thinking back to all I loved and lost. My heart is full and aching strong. So I'll throw
being a tourist in my own hometown was the concept I never considered. So what I mean as like a concept that I never thought I'd have to consider being a tourist in my hometown is that every time I come back here it seems like everything is different. If you notice behind me it's almost a dead mall. It's the Cascade Mall. Directly right behind me was Macy's. Right here next to me was JCPenney's at one point. Now it's just an empty shell of what it used to be. It just seems like everything that used to be here is now disappearing and it's getting replaced by something new and commercial and just unrecognizable. But on a brighter note though, another reason why I say that we're being a tourist in my hometown also is because my wife and I are coming and visiting to go see the Tulip Festival. And then also, if you can tell from earlier in the video, on the roof, we went snowboarding up in Mount Baker. So I introduced my wife to my home mountain where I learned how to snowboard. Reintroducing my wife to my hometown to go see the tulips. And then also we're taking my daughter to go see the tulips again because granted we did come here last year and visit the tulips and bring my daughter here, but she was not even a month old yet, maybe just over a month old when she came last time, so she definitely does not remember it. Speaking of the Tulip Festival, I still am on the hunt for a small, minimal, less commanding of attention camera that I could use for like just basic family functions like I've said before, then also just hanging out with my wife and my daughter. And that camera that I have with me is the Minolta X-7A. You might be a little bit familiar with this camera in another name, the X300 or the X370. Like most other camera companies do, depending on the region that the product is sold in, they give it a different name. Like I believe in America, this was the X300. In Europe, this was the X370. And in Asia, I believe it was the X-7A. Either way, I have the X-7A. It's a pretty basic camera. It's entry level of their 3 levels of camera that Minolta had at that time. The only manual thing I got to do to it is manually focus and the aperture, but that's pretty much it. Everything else is auto. You can select manually your shutter speed, but it all just kind of gives you the proper adjustment in the viewfinder itself, just like most other cameras do. I do have a roll of film already loaded in here that I started a while back. I'm going to finish it up at the Tulip Festival, and you guys will see those pictures. But yeah, let's get it going.
I can see it in your eyes. I can feel it in your touch. I can hear it in your voice, though you haven't said that much. Through an empty bottle, I can see it all so clear. All these broken pieces will be scattered in the wind. With it far too long. Some people change when they grow old, but I don't want to say that you've been wrong, because I'm not that bold. Through an empty bottle, I can see it all so clear. We're just broken people, will be scattered in the wind.
Shipwreck in the dark, far from the harbor, far from the start. In a storm, I lost my sails, I lost all direction, caught in the veil. I didn't know love lost in the sea. I didn't know love till you found me. I didn't know love till you set me free. Didn't know love. Didn't know love. She was sinking, falling fast, so I abandoned ship, held on.
Oh man. Ugh. I really have become the Don Mazzetti of the photography world, haven't I? Let's get this over with. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been like 2 years since we last seen each other. The last time exactly was June 11th, I believe. A lot has happened over those last 2 years. Handily, I made myself a nice little bullet point list to kind of rapid fire all the things that have caused me to be gone for so long. But let's get started with that. So, starting off with, the car got broken into twice. Job I was working at the time, worked hella overtime, got a promotion, worked hella more overtime. Moved twice. Started a new career, and biggest and most important holdup was I had a second child. So I am a dad of 2 now. I need sleep. Alright, well basically going based off of that bullet point list I just kind of rapid fired to you guys just now. At the beginning of the video, that first shot, that was the day that my car got broken into for the second time. So amongst that and other things holding me back from being able to do photography and making videos for you guys, that was one of the few things. But also, if you remember in that part in the video as well, I had mentioned how I wasn't really able to capture much that day because all my camera batteries died. That's kind of a truth within a lie, slightly. More towards the Minolta camera side of things, because if you guys are familiar with the gentleman named Bray Hunziker, in his earlier videos there's a running joke amongst his stuff going on where when he was using this Pentax 6x7, he would regularly accidentally push up the mirror lockup function on his camera to where he was just blind firing his camera. Well, similarly with the Minolta X-7A, right here where you would rest your fingers at when you hold the camera is the self timer function. When it pops up, or when you press it to do the self timer function, what happens is when you press the shutter button, basically the whole camera goes blank for that 10 seconds. And the only thing that kind of gives a sign that you are using the shutter function itself, or the self timer function itself, is if you are in front of the camera, you'll see the light flashing. Obviously, since I'm taking the pictures, I'm behind the camera. I'm not going to be going in front of it, so I don't see that it's flashing. So I thought it was dead, and I thought all my batteries had died, but really it was just the self timer was counting down, and I didn't make that connection until much later. And then the other truth within that lie was I had 2 aftermarket Canon 5D batteries, and these guys did in fact die on me. They no longer hold the charge. They are done, which I guess is kind of what most people tell you to do. Is when you buy camera batteries, you tend to want to stick with the original manufacturer's batteries because they tend to last better, they tend to be more reliable. Aftermarket and third-party batteries, it's hit or miss. The brand of those batteries that died on me, I have other cameras with batteries from that company for third-party batteries, and I have about 6 batteries altogether from that company, and only 2 of them have died. So about a third of the time they fail on me. So it seems to be pretty successful so far, but you know, you never know, and everyone's case could be different. Alright, now yes, it did take 2 years to make this video just about, but I don't expect this to really be like a masterpiece, nor did I have the expectation coming into this of it being like a masterpiece of a video. It took that long to make, essentially, is what the big deal is here. Now, the main focus of this whole thing, like I said earlier in the video as well, is I'm still on the hunt for a everyday carry, low profile camera that's good to use for just, you know, capturing those good moments with my kids and stuff like that and my family. I've had the Minolta X-7A for like a very long time. I think when I got this was like 2016, 2017, when I first really got into film cameras and stuff like that. And around that time I was going really deep into like the thrifting for it and stuff like that, like jumping between Value Villages, Goodwills, local thrift stores, and just seeing what film cameras they have in stock, if they even do have any, and then buying them, testing them out, fixing them up if needed, and then reselling it. If it was ones that I would see pretty regularly, I would, cycle it through, get it, test it, fix it, sell it, get it out the door. If there were ones I didn't see very often, I would tend to keep those. The X-7A is one of those that I wanted to keep because this is the only X-7A I've seen in person. So, but yeah, also like I said earlier in the video, there are many different models, basically the same thing, just different names. I did end up later finding an X300, and that was kind of like a dream camera of mine to keep, just because it was in a music video used by an artist named G-Eazy in their Maryland music video. If you do end up watching that music video, his character in that music video, his character's girlfriend is the one that uses that camera. And since I made that discovery like nearly 12 years ago, 15 years ago maybe, how old is the song? I don't remember. But yeah, pretty much since that moment when I first really got into photography and stuff like that was kind of like I didn't expect it to be like a dream camera in terms of like, oh my god, this is the best camera that there is as an option or anything like that. It was more just, hey, that was in a really cool piece of media I've seen before in the past, and I really like it a lot. That'd be awesome if I had it. So I do have that thing now, and it's sitting in my bookshelf. And don't worry, it doesn't just collect dust, it does get used from time to time as well. But yeah, I have it, I use it, and that fulfillment has been reached. But yeah, anyway, so the X-7A, so like I was saying, I've had this thing since like 2017, 2018, something like that. I've used it quite a bit for a bunch of random things, like going out hanging out with friends, doing random photo shoots with buddies of mine, and just other random things like that. I've never really had the chance to take this for like a full-on like landscape photography purpose type thing, so I never really got the opportunity to test it out for those purposes. But in my experience with film cameras of this style, where it's basically just, a black box with the lens thrown in front of it, the ability of the camera itself is more about the lenses you have for it, and then also your skills as well. It's not so much the camera body itself, because it does pretty much what it needs you to do. It's got a functioning light meter in it that works pretty accurately well. The lens options amongst the Minolta, so far in my experience, has been awesome. They've renditioned color well. They've provided accurate measuring ability for the light meters within the cameras themselves. I haven't experienced much with fungus, and that could just be luck on my end of things. The varieties of them are awesome. Like I have a 51.7. Yeah, 51.7. I have their 45 f2. I have their 135 f2.8, I believe is what it is. Where is that bad boy at? Yeah. 135 f2.8, and then I have various third-party 28 millimeters that I've come across over the years, and they've all have been just fantastic. The only issue I've ever come across with Minolta's bodies, which I'm sure you come across with any camera body to be honest from this time and even before as well, is the light meter needs to be checked sometimes because sometimes it's off. Also with this camera body, or this camera style as well, with it being an older film body camera style, is it's not exactly the best at reading a full scene's light exposure. Sometimes it tries to balance too much, where the difference between, or the contrast between the highlights and the shadows is just too much, or it doesn't get it quite right. But that's really any camera at this point. But yeah, for the task that I was using this camera, it fulfilled its job exactly as it needed to be, because it has, like I said earlier in the video, it has auto shutter settings on it. The only really manual thing you have to set, and you have no option to avoid setting, is the aperture. But that's, if you know what you're doing, then you're pretty much good to go. Just throw it in one aperture mode, throw it in auto, and then you're good to go, just firing away. And then, yeah, like I said before, it has a self timer mode, which is this little switch right here. You just flicker up, and it's set in self timer mode. If you have an auto exposure lock, instead of pulling it up, you set the exposure for your shot you want to capture. You push it and hold it down, and then you reframe and shoot. Its ISO goes between 12, which is astronomically low in this day and age, to be honest, and 3200. I pretty much shot it between either 400 or 160 most of the time, because that's the only film I ever really use, is between 160 and 400. Its minimum shutter speed is bulb, or 1 second. Its maximum shutter speed is at 1/1000th of a second. So it's a pretty standard, I would say, spread of shutter speed options that you have. But yeah, other than that, it's a pretty well functioning camera. Like I've said before in the past, I'm not really a review channel. It's more just, I see a camera, I find it, I test it out, and I try to get the experience out of it, and then tell you what I thought about it, pretty much, I guess. I don't know. I guess you can say it's reviewing, but I'm not really going to state like the whole statistics for it and all the other crazy stuff. But yeah, this is one line of camera that was in the whole test that I'm going through. I will go on and continue on with the other cameras I have on my list of things that I would like to try. And if the other things don't meet my standards, I might end up coming back to this guy, because this pretty closely hit the mark of what I was wanting. Alright guys, well, thanks for coming back to the channel. I know it's been a couple years since we last seen each other, and I'm really hoping it's not going to be this long again before we do see each other again. I have been doing a lot of other photo shoots and stuff like that behind the scenes. It's more just kind of private work and stuff like that, so it's not really stuff that I want to show on my personal channels and stuff like that. But I have been doing some work. I do have more things that I would like to do in terms of my tests, like I said before, in terms of finding a family photo shoot camera, stuff like that, like an everyday carry. The hunt continues on. I very closely hit the bullseye with the Minolta X-7A. It's almost there. There's just some things that I would like to tweak about if I could, but the things that I can't change about it, because it's not my camera. I didn't make it. But yeah, there are plenty of other cameras on my list that I would like to try out. It's just a matter of, one, either attaining them, or two, going out and actually having the time to record the clips of me, using the cameras and stuff like that. Also, on top of that, film has gotten more expensive. Developing film has gotten more expensive. It's been so long since I've even developed my own film that my own film chemicals have gone expired, so I need to dispose of those properly. I need to get more chemicals and recreate them and stuff like that. It's just a whole thing. And with me being a dad of 2 now, that's time that I just don't really have at the moment. So it's all just a whole cluster of things. But in the end, it's all going to work out. It's all been fun. This is a whole new experience, and I wouldn't wish for anything different. But I'll see you guys again in the future. Enjoy.